Hey team! Excited for this training. Get me settled here. So you guys can all be jumping on. We've got some big and exciting things to talk about. Hey Katie! People are hopping on. This is going to be hard because it's going to be a little bit, it's not going to be a short training, but I know people are going to be hopping on in the middle of it. So I'm just going to have to kind of go through it and have people watch the recording if they miss it. But hey Leslie, hey guys jumping on. Okay. I have titled this Money Mindset. And what meaning have you attached to it about yourself? We are going to be talking about scarcity, abundance, money, what it means and says about you, all that good stuff. So if you guys are just hopping on, I need you to get out a piece of paper and a pen because we're going to be doing some exercises. And I am just gonna go. Yay! Maybe I'll wait one more minute. What time is it? I wanted to give everybody a chance to hop on. Can I comment while it's going? Anyways, okay, I'm just gonna go because we have so much to talk about, and so this could be a recording you guys can share with other people later, but get a piece of paper out. Okay, get a piece of paper out. We are gonna be talking about money mindset. Now for me, I'm basically going to be telling you my story. Okay, because all I can speak from is my own story. I've been working with about 120 leaders in this company in smaller groups, and this was the topic of one of our calls 2 weeks ago, and so much breakthrough and freedom came from these calls. I thought, well, this needs to be shared with the entire team. So I'm gonna do the best I can to condense this. So here we go. Okay, first of all, for you guys that are on here right now, I want you to write down on a piece of paper, you don't have to show this to me, but I want you to write down on a piece of paper what your big, hairy, scariest dream yearly income goal with Plexus is. I want you to write down your biggest, scariest income goal that you have with Plexus that you wish and dream to earn yearly with Plexus Worldwide. I want you to write that number down on a piece of paper right now. Okay? Literally write it down. We're going to come back to it in a few minutes, but I want you to have it written on a piece of paper. Write it down. Okay? Okay. So if you're just hopping on, do that. But I'm just going to go ahead and start and tell my story because this is my story. Okay, so I was having guilt about money. I only had these breakthroughs like last 6 months, but let me tell you why I was, and this will make so much more sense, and I think it'll be pretty eye-opening for a lot of you guys. If you, go ahead and like or comment like, comment, interact with this. If you have ever felt guilt or judgment about money, maybe that's for yourself, for somebody else. Well, nobody changes unless we're totally transparent. So go ahead, like, comment, all that stuff. If you have ever judged yourself or judged somebody else for the amount of money, whether little amount of money or large amount of money they've had. If you have ever done that, write that, or just go ahead and hit the like or hands up or whatever. You're not alone. I had. This is what brought me to this conclusion. I've been learning a lot with my life coach to become familiar with my feelings without judgment. Okay? So often, what most people do is they avoid, resist, procrastinate, pretend like that uncomfortable feeling doesn't exist. And so they just keep going, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to explore that. But what I am encouraging you to do, and what leaders do, and what people who want to get unstuck and go to the next level, they explore the feelings of uncomfortableness. They explore why their life feels out of alignment. They may want this thing, but it makes them feel this way, and they're feeling gross about it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a simple tool that's gonna give you the freedom from that. It simply is that what meaning have you attached to it about you? And so here I was. This is my personal story. I was Jessica Heffley, Diamond Ambassador, one of the top in the entire company, honestly making $1 million a year with me and my husband. That's just truth. But I had attached all these meanings to money, which I'm going to explore and explain to you guys here in just a minute. Growing up, I believed that if you had money, you were spoiled, or if you had money, you didn't have character, or if you had money, you were taking money away from somebody else. These were ingrained in me from my childhood, from my environment, from my parents. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. And so here I was making good, great money, but feeling guilty and shameful and uncomfortable and gross for doing it. So I was just in this like, something had to change. So I either had to stop making the money, give it away, or honestly, I like the money. I like the I like the freedoms that it provides and the things that I can do and give and live and dream with this money. So I didn't necessarily want to give that away. So I had another option. I had to change the meaning that I had attached to the money. Okay, and this is what we are going to explore. I'm going to tell you 3 huge roadblocks and things that I truly believed about money that were keeping me feeling in this guilt, shame, uncomfortable, out of alignment trap. Okay, so I'm going to cover my 3 with you guys, but first I want you to have a piece of paper. I am going to list, there's like 20 different little sayings. Okay, if any of these are all like sayings about money. If any of these resonate with you at all, write them down. Try to write down at least 3 of these. You may have more, but if you have ever thought this way about money, or you grew up thinking this way about money, or you currently still feel this way about money, or you hear this and you're like, yep, or I agree with that, okay, I want you to write it down. This is a very important step of this exercise. Please do not watch this video, not do this, because you won't be able to retrain your brain and find freedom and find peace and get rid of the guilt, shame, and misalignment, okay? So you got your piece of paper. I'm going to read them quickly. If any of these resonates with you, no judgment. Take the judgment out of this. But if any of these resonate with you, write this down. Okay? Here we go. You can't be rich and spiritual. Money isn't important. People are. Never go into debt. Save your money for a rainy day. Rich people are lucky, gross, selfish, entitled, snobby, shallow, egomaniacs, or holier than thou. You have to work hard to make money. Write any of these down that connect with you. You can't make money doing plexus. You can't make money doing what you love. I'm too irresponsible, lazy, or clueless to make money. It's not polite to talk about money. It's important to have a good, secure job. If you get excited about making money, it means you're shallow. Money doesn't grow on trees. You must go to a good college to make money. Money causes stress. There's never enough money. Money is trouble. I don't want to be a sellout. You have to sacrifice having a good, fun life to make money. Money is out of reach. You have champagne taste on a beer budget. Always have a backup plan. It's lonely at the top. Who has that kind of money? He or she is only about the money. Okay? I read all those. I'm going to read them again real quickly. If you just hopped on, if any of these resonate how you currently feel about money, have in the past, no judgment, but write these down because I'm going to teach you something really special to do with these feelings. There's no judgment about these feelings, but you need to write them down, and we're going to work on what we're going to do with it next, okay? So any of these, write them down. Here we go again. You can't be rich and spiritual. Money isn't important. People are. Never go into debt. Save your money for a rainy day. Rich people are lucky, gross, selfish, entitled, snobby, shallow, egomaniacs, holier than thou. You have to work hard to make money. Write any of these down. You can't make money doing what you love. You can't make money doing plexus. I'm too irresponsible, lazy, or clueless to make money. It's not polite to talk about money. It's important to have a good, secure job. If you get excited by making money, it means you're shallow. Money doesn't grow on trees. You must go to a good college to make money. Money causes stress. There's never enough money. Money is trouble. I don't want to be a sellout. You have to sacrifice having a good, fun life to make money. Money is out of reach. You have champagne taste on a beer budget. Always have a backup plan. It's lonely at the top. Who has that kind of money? He or she is only about the money. Okay, so this, I'll type all these out. This actually is from this book, which has been one of my favorites to smack me straight out of the scarcity mindset. I want to make a reference to this. She made reference the universe. I have in my head when I read this, I equate this to God and the Holy Spirit. So, but she uses some techniques that helped me get out of my trap. But we're going to talk about that later in a minute. Okay, so you now have written down some of these things that you have thought about money. These are money mindsets. There's no judgment around those. And you probably have those money mindsets because probably your parents had those money mindsets or the environments you were in had those money mindsets. So there's no judgment in it. Okay, but I'm going to tell you my story of the 3 main ones that I believed about money and myself and how I changed those beliefs. Okay, so here we go. Again, what I'm trying to portray with this is whatever environment we grow up in or are surrounded in, we naturally take on those characteristics and that thought life and that mindset. For example, you take a 2-year-old baby or a 2-year-old small child who speaks English, and a Spanish-speaking family adopts them, and that all they are in is Spanish-speaking people. That's all they hear. That's their whole entire world. That 2-year-old is going to learn Spanish really quick because it's fully immersed in it. It's their environment. That is what they're surrounded by. They didn't have to get out a textbook and teach them Spanish. It was just what they were surrounded with. This is the same with money. Most people's money mindsets or scarcity mindsets just accidentally were... that's the environment they were in when growing up. So again, there's no judgment towards your parents or towards your environment growing up. But now that here's a big piece, you're accountable for what you make things mean to you. So as you're having some light bulb moments and some awareness on this call today, you now are accountable for what money means to you. Now that you are becoming more aware through this call that that's maybe not the healthiest way to think, or that may not be right, or that you're now accountable to retrain your brain to help it be to make it be in alignment for you with the truth. So, okay. Here we go. So my big 3 was this is again just my story. So growing up, we were low. I would say lower middle class. We never went without, but we didn't have extra. Or at least my filter growing up was when I wanted to go on maybe a youth group trip or do this thing. Or I always heard from my parents, well, we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have money for that. And so I grew up in a household, well, my dad had he worked really hard. I am so thankful. There again is no judgment or tearing down against my mom or my dad. But he worked in a factory his entire life to support his family of 6. And so on that very minimal income, I'm so thankful that I did. He supported a family of 6. So I grew up with the mentality I would always barely get by. If I ever wanted to give my kids nice Christmases, it would have to be on a credit card. We could never fly anywhere. We can't afford to fly. We could only afford to drive. We can't go out to eat because we can't afford that. Just all different things that I grew up thinking that's going to be my life for the rest of my life. I'm going to have to work until I die because with my minimum paying job, I'm not going to have that much for retirement. That was just how I thought. And so there's no judgment towards it. I just literally never dreamed of anything else because I didn't realize or think that anything else could be possible. Because also, here's the 3 lies that I had attached to money. Okay, first lie was having money meant that you were spoiled. That's what I grew up thinking. Just being honest, please no judgment. I'm just going to be really honest and candid with you guys. So if people had money in my view of when I was a child, if people had money, that meant that they were spoiled, right? They got to go skiing for spring break, or their parents bought them a car when they were 16, or they had, a really nice house, or drove a really nice car, or they had, heaven forbid, a house cleaner. How could they afford that? Those spoiled brats. I literally grew up thinking this. Okay, so I believed that people who had money were spoiled. I genuinely did. I think I saw that modeled, and so I believed that people who had money were spoiled, point blank. Okay, so that was childhood Jessica. Was carrying these beliefs into adult Jessica. So here's adult Jessica doing very well with Plexus, making a lot of money, but my attachment I had placed with money, the meaning I had attached to money was spoiled from my childhood. So here I was making money, which I believed meant you were spoiled. So I was like, oh, I feel spoiled and bad and embarrassed. And it was this guilt thing. Okay? So that was not helping. Second lie I believed. Okay, I believed that working hard for your money built character. Working hard, working with your hands, working long hours, that built character. That's what you do to build character. You've got to get out there and work hard for your money. And so here I was. That was the childhood belief of Jessica that went into my adulthood. Okay, so here's adult Jessica, a Diamond Ambassador making very good money from my iPhone sitting on my couch in my air-conditioned home. So this belief I held that hard work builds character, but I was making a lot of money without having to work incredibly hard. So I was making a lot of money, but the meaning I attached to it is you can't have meaning and have character. You must be a bad person if you're making money easily. So that made me feel, ugh, gross. Ugh, I'm doing something wrong. Money must be bad. Okay? Are you following along? Is this making sense? Give me some likes, some hearts. Anybody resonate with any of these two stories so far? Let me know. Okay, and then the third meaning I had attached to money was that rich people take money away from poor people. I literally thought this as a child. I thought if somebody made a lot of money, that meant that they were taking money away from someone else. And some ways that this was ingrained in me is my dad worked in a factory, but I also worked in that same factory one summer and on a Christmas break for college. And I remember people sitting around saying, like, when the company man, like when the owner of the business, owner of the factory or the company would come and visit, I remember people saying, like, can you believe that rich company man making so much money and we're over here working our butts off and not making very much money? Okay, so in my head, I thought that if someone was at the top of a company or a corporation or whatever and making good money, that meant that they were stealing from people who are making less money. I truly believe that. It's totally false, but that's the belief I had as a child. So here I was as an adult, back to adult Jessica, making really good money, but the meaning I had attached to money was that if you're making a lot of money, then you're making somebody else poorer. You're taking money away from somebody else because you're making good money. That is false. All three of those things that I believed about money were false. So can you understand how adult Jessica, whose meaning that she'd attached to money was, if you have money, you must be spoiled, not have character, and must be taking money away from somebody else. If you're rich, that means you're making somebody else poor. True story. So if that is the meaning that I had attached to money, I was going to continue to feel gross and shameful and embarrassed of having money. I was not going to want any more. Does this make sense? Like, is this clicking with you guys? Sorry, I need some interaction here. Okay, so I had legitimately attached that meaning to money. And so when I was working with one-on-one with Preston, he helped me see, because I said some things like, you know what? Like, I think that we're probably going to have the means to be able to pay for our kids' college and buy them a car. But I don't want them to be spoiled brats. And he goes, well, why would they be a spoiled brat? And I was like, well, because we have money and rich people are spoiled, was the meaning I had attached to money, then I would feel so gross. I don't want my kids to be spoiled. And he legitimately was like, well, why would your kids be spoiled? Like, it was the first time someone helped me to see, brought me the awareness that maybe the way I was thinking about money wasn't right or wasn't correct. And I said, well, I want my kids to be grateful and thankful for the things that they have. I want my children to be grateful and not spoiled. And he was like, okay, why can't they be grateful and have money? And it was like this light bulb moment I had never, ever thought about. And I was like, well, how do I teach them how to be grateful? Like, what books? I want them to be grateful children. How do I teach them to do that? And he kind of laughed at me, and he was like, he didn't really laugh at me. He's very compassionate. He never judges me. He's just like, Jessica, you model it. You model gratitude. You model thankfulness. And then your children model thankfulness. It has nothing to do with the amount of money that you have. Nothing to do. Okay, do you know poor people who are mean? Do you know rich people who are mean? Yes, I know both. Do you know poor people who are stingy with their money? And do you know rich people who are stingy with their money? Yes, I know both. Do you know poor people who are very generous with their money? And do you know rich people who are very generous with their money? Yes, I know both. And so it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the meaning that you have attached to money. So earlier in the call, I listed off those 20 things that you may have had a distorted view about money. Okay, hopefully you've written those down. You're going to have homework on this call, okay? Because we have to retrain our brain to the truth. We have to, if we don't want to live in the guilt and shame and the and the embarrassment, then we have to make money mean something else to us. We have to get to the root of the meaning that we have attached to it and what that means about you, okay? Because I have a lot of money. That does not mean that I am spoiled, don't have character, and I'm stealing money away from somebody else. That simply isn't true. That simply isn't true. So I can thrive and be who I am and not feel guilt, shame, or any anymore because I've changed what the meaning of money is to me. Okay, so if you're just hopping on, you guys are going to have to watch this from the beginning for this to make sense. So here's how I changed my views. I want you to take the lie that you are currently believing about yourself and and how that relates to money, because all these are really lies of what you are believing about yourself. That's all it ties back to. It has nothing to do with the money. It's lies that you have attached to it about yourself that may be false, that may be a lie. Okay, so for me, my first one was having money means you're spoiled. Instead, I have switched that to having money gives me freedoms, options, and fun. Freedoms, options, and fun, y'all. Because when I thought that money meant that you're spoiled, I was like, oh, well, I can't hire a house cleaner because my friends from church can't afford that. And, oh, they're going to think I'm spoiled. Or I can't go on nice vacations because everyone's going to think that I am spoiled. Or I can't drive a Lexus. Can you believe? Like, what? I can't drive that to church. People are going to think that I'm a spoiled brat. No, all of those things were false meanings I had attached of people judging me and meanings that I attached that money meant you're spoiled. No, when I changed it to having money gives me freedoms, options, and fun, which is the truth. I have freedoms, options, and fun because I have money, and I want everybody else to have freedoms, options, and fun. I now hire a house cleaner with zero judgment of what anybody else thinks of me, because me hiring a house cleaner does not mean that I'm spoiled. That means that I have the option to hire and pay somebody else, give somebody a job, provide money for somebody else, and I don't have to do something I don't want to. There's nothing wrong. Hard work develops character. No, you're not going to have better character because you clean your toilet and somebody else doesn't. I have the freedom to hire somebody else to do that, and there's no judgment attached to that because money means you have freedom, options, and fun. Okay, the second one, working hard for your money builds character. That was the lie I believed. So I only believed I could have character if I worked hard. I changed that. First of all, I changed that to money flows easily. I literally write money flows easily. Because why have we attached the meaning that you can only make money when it's hard? Why have we attached the meaning that it's only hard work to make money? That is a lie, an agreement that you have made that does not have to be true. So money flows easily. I also have put people with great character who add value have money. Okay? People can have money and have great character and add value. It has nothing to do with the amount of hard work that you do. Again, these are just the lies I believed. You guys are going to have your own that you're going to have to work through. Third one, the lie I believed was rich people take money away from poor people. That was the lie I believed. And I reframed that to my paycheck increasing doesn't mean someone else's is decreasing. Okay, this book, again, one of the most simplest thoughts that I got when I read this, it blew my mind because I literally was living with the belief that if I made money, then I was taking it away from somebody else. Okay, listen to this sentence. You living your fullest life and making all the money required to do so doesn't take anything away from anyone else more than you refusing a ham sandwich because someone somewhere is starving helps them. Okay, I just had this analogy. This is so true. Okay, so say you are really burdened for people who don't have money. Okay, and someone at lunch offered, say, I don't know, like there's about to be a hurricane, a tsunami in India, and so if you're in your mind, you're thinking, those poor people in India don't have food, and then at lunch, your coworker's like, hey, do you want this ham sandwich? And you're like, no, someone in India is starving. I can't take that ham sandwich. No, the ham sandwich right in front of you has nothing to do with the people over in India. You saying no to that ham sandwich does not mean that someone in India gets a ham sandwich because you said no. Does that make sense? Like, this was mind-blowing for me. This was a truth I believed about myself. Hey, guys jumping on. If you jumped on, go ahead and watch from the beginning when it stops, because this isn't going to make much sense to you now. But okay, so you guys wrote down out of the list of all these things about money, you wrote down the false things that you have attached meaning to about money. Your homework now is to rephrase that and rechange what that meaning of money means to you, because you're accountable for what you make things mean to you. And so many people stay stuck in this business because the meaning that they have attached to money and what that means about them. And so this is so freeing, so freeing. We've had so many it's called You Are a Badass at Making Money. Again, I apologize. She does cuss if you just hopped on, but this will shake you out of your mindsets. And when she uses the word universe, I change it and I use the word God and Holy Spirit in my head, because this has been super transformative. But there also, y'all, is so many biblical books about money. Spirit-Driven Success. I've started reading this one from Bethel, Poverty, Riches, and Wealth. Like, we just America has a distorted view about money. In the church, we're too often taught that money, you have to be poor to be noble, or it is, more nobler to have less than to have more. That is simply not true. The people with the most influence in this world have money. And would you rather have good people with money making a difference in this world, or not good people? But really, it just boils down to what you believe about yourself. I have never met somebody who is truly and genuinely self-confident, truly believed in themselves, believed in their identity in Christ, and that they are enough and that they are worthy, and they had self-confidence. I've never met someone like that who doesn't have abundance. It's because what they focus on. So it's the people who, if you don't think you're worthy or worth it or deserve it, that is where we have to start. What meaning have you attached to it about yourself? Because that is the kicker. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're feeling guilt about this, but also guilt about anything in life, if you're ever feeling guilt, shame, avoidance, fear, or anxiety, that is a gift from God for that self-awareness, for you then to explore what meaning you have put attached to it about yourself. That is the underlying thing. So sit in that discomfort. There is no judgment in that discomfort. To feel how you honestly feel, to explore how you honestly feel about money and what that meaning you have attached to that about yourself. Okay? So sit with that. And remember, because you either have to change your situation or you have to attach your core beliefs and your core identity. So one of those has to change. There's way too many people over here saying, my core identity is not good enough. I'm too scared. I judge rich people, but you're saying that you want money, or you're saying that you want to provide for your family, but you're like, oh, but that's gross. That is out of alignment. That will not work. Like, I've literally had people say, well, I don't want to be a Plexus Jewel because I don't want to have to carry this certain type of purse and look this certain way and do this. And I thought, are you kidding me? No, and it wasn't a mad thing because there's no judgment. It really was like, I am so sad for you that you have attached the meaning that you think that you have to be a certain way to be this. That simply is not true. And so you have to figure out what meaning that you have attached to that. And you have to have a healthy view of what money is and what money can do. So here's your homework. First of all, at least 3 of those lies, I want you to rephrase those and write them every single day as you retrain your brain. Here's the second part of your homework. I want you to write down the names of 5 wealthy, rich people. And I want you to write 5 great or awesome things about each 5 of those people. You've got to put in this work to retrain your brain. Y'all, it's easy. Look, it's easy to not do this homework that I'm about to give you. It's easy to sit in your guilt and your shame and your uncomfortableness and your stuckness. It's easy. That's easy to do. But God has called you to greatness, and now that you have the awareness about you, it's your responsibility. It's your privilege to explore this and explore the meaning that you have attached to this, because it's just as easy not to do it, and it's going to be uncomfortable to change the way you view things, but there's freedom on the other side. So you can make the choice to continue to live in guilt, shame, embarrassment, resentment, hide me under a bushel, or you can choose the work to have freedom and not feel guilt, shame, fear, anxiousness. Those are not of the Lord. Those feelings are there to show you something is out of alignment, for you to explore, not to ignore. Okay, so the second part of your homework. So first you're going to make 5 people who are rich or wealthy and 5 awesome things about each one. And then I want you to make a list of 25 reasons it's awesome and good to have money. I'm serious. Do it. 1 through 25. 25 reasons it's awesome and good to have money. Because as you're going to be doing this work, this retraining your brain, rewording these lies you had and meanings that you had attached to yourself about money, your brain, your subconscious, this is like science, a proven fact. Your brain is going to need proof of your new beliefs. It's going to need proof to validate the way that you're thinking, because you will always find what you're looking for. Am I right? So if you think that rich people are spoiled or mean or snooty or can't be Christians, then that's what you're always going to be looking for. Okay? But if you believe that money is good and people give it to good causes and give to good organizations and provide therapy for people who need it, pay for counseling for people who need it, buy a house for a pastor who is just burnt out, pay cash for adoptions, go on vacations, buy you a pool to have a family gathering for your children, right? Retrain your brain to see 25 reasons why money is fun and awesome. Okay, and if you've attached a meaning that money can't be fun, or it's wrong for money to be fun, we'll go back to that meaning of why you've attached that. So, man, I have talked about a lot of things. Let me look over my notes really quickly. This also applies to all areas of your life. Scarcity mindset is not just about money. Okay, here's a very good example. Okay, for example, scarcity mindset. When you are in scarcity, there is never enough, right? There's just I've been there. So many of y'all have been there. There's just never enough money, never enough time, never enough sleep, never enough friendships, never enough joy, there's just never enough. And so you have to cling to every last bit that you have, because there's never enough. Now, do you want to live a life like, look, I'm just like literally hurting myself by digging my fingernails into my fist that hard? I don't want to live like this, because when you're in this stage, all you can think about is yourself, right? Like you can't even think about when an opportunity comes up that needs help or needs financing or needs resources. You can't even think about that. You do not have a radar for that, because all you can think about is taking care of yourself. And there's no judgment. We've all been there. But when you have abundance of time, abundance of resources, abundance of money, abundance of sleep, abundance of health, abundance of peace in your heart, then you can think about others. You literally have the headspace. You have the headspace, you have the resources, and that is how God uses the kingdom to help others, to love on others, to have fun and live your life to the full. Because remember, when I was a kid, I never dreamed. I never dreamed, because I thought making $30,000 a year, having a house payment until you die, and never being able to have anything extra and always having credit card debt, I thought that was the norm. I thought that was all I would ever know. My fist is like this. My fist is like this. I had to give up the meanings that I had attached to money and what that meant to me. So if you're just hopping on, go back and watch these lies that I talk about. I list off 20 of them that you have probably attached to money in some sort of way, and I teach you the tools to retrain your brain. So at the very beginning of the call, I told you to write down what your big dream, hairy income yearly goal is with Plexus. Write that down. So if you just hopped on, I want you to still do this. Your biggest, wildest dream, yearly income with Plexus. No judgment, but I want you to write it down right now. Okay? I want you to write it down right now. Your biggest, scariest goal, write it down. And now I want you to take an X and I want you to cross it out. And I want you to double it. I want you to write that number doubled. And I want you, this isn't going to change everything, just seeing this doubled number, but I want you to, I'm giving you permission to dream. Because first of all, if you never even consider that amount, then you're never even going to dream of the possibilities or be open to that at all. You've got to at least be open to that. And this exercise changed everything for me. Once I had some of these tools, on the awareness, first of all, that I had attached all these lies to money, I didn't even have that awareness. I was just like, I have money and it makes me feel gross. But once I really investigated the meaning, then now it's just so simple, right? It's just so simple. All those lies that I believed about money, now that I know better, it's like, oh, well, that was stupid that I felt that way, or that I thought that way, because it just isn't true. But it's going to take work to retrain your brain. Why I did this double your income exercise with you is because when I first started running with the business, there was somebody I looked up to in the company as one of the top earners in the company, and I found out what she was making a month. And I found out, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much money. And then I made my goal half of what she was making a month. When I first started Plexus, I was like, oh, my biggest, scariest, the biggest, possiblest thing I could ever dream for myself would be half of what she's making. And this was almost 5 years ago. And so that was that was like the ceiling I had put for myself. And then last summer, I was honestly getting close to that halfway goal. And I read the book, like Secrets of Six-Figure Women, and just had really been working on self-worth for myself and who God made me and how special I am and the gifts and talents that each of you possess and hold yourself. And I had this realization of, well, why the heck would you make your dream goal only half of hers? Like, what? Why only half? Why can't it be 10 times what she makes? You know, like it was just a representation of how I viewed myself. And so, take what you view yourself today, double it, and go for it, and retrain your brain about money. Do the hard work. If you need to be reading books, if you need to be surrounding yourself with other people. That was also hard for me, because especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, sometimes your community of friends may be other just stay-at-home moms that are barely making it by. They can't afford a house cleaner. They can't afford childcare. They can't afford vacations. And you're over here like, going to leaders retreat, cruise, holla, going to Hawaii. And if you've attached guilt and shame to that, that's going to be an awful place to live. God doesn't want you to live in this awful, shameful place. He wants you to know your true identity and live out of it and inspire others to do the same. And so I'm going to get off here, but I really, really am excited for you guys as you guys are going to change your mind. Comment right here if this has been helpful for you in any way, if you have had any glimpse of a breakthrough or any awareness that you didn't have before about money, or anything that is starting to change or shift, or some things that you're like, oh, I got to go explore this. I am excited to hear about it, and I want to hear about it because this is huge, and you will stay stuck in life, in business, in your marriage, in relationships, and friendships if we do not explore what you have been avoiding, resisting, what's giving you guilt or what's giving you shame, okay? So we've got to deconstruct the meaning of money. I'm going to leave you with these two things. This, once again, you are accountable for what you make things mean for you. You are accountable for what you make things mean for you. And the second one is you get to the next level by a completely different thinking. You get to the next level by a completely different thinking. This may be earth-shattering for some of you. For some of you, you're still resisting it, whatever. But if you want to get to the place where you're not on the break and you don't have guilt, shame, resistance, avoidance, fear, anxiety, newsflash, you always will to an extent, because once you master this, there's going to be something else that the Lord will reveal. But aren't you thankful that he reveals these insecurities in us? Aren't you thankful that you have the courage to explore it and not avoid it? That is true growth. That is true health. And I am so proud of you guys for it. So proud, because the good Lord needs you. He needs your gifts. He needs your talents. He needs your inspiration. And he needs you being the healthiest, best version of yourself. Because you living to your full potential, you dreaming and living life to the full and not being ashamed of it, not being sorry about it, that inspires other people to come into their true self. That inspires other people to do the work and to grow and to be the best possible versions of themselves that they can be. And this will affect your parenting. This will affect your parenting, your marriage, your relationships. How you view the world. If you view it as scarce, there'll never be enough. I can't give away my Plexus secrets. I can't help anybody else because I can only help myself because there's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough. Ain't nobody going to want to be your friend, and that's a sorry, sad way to live. But if you're like, this helped me. This is how I've grown. Let me share this with you. I have the ability and the resources to produce whatever I want and need in life. One easy way to red flag or easy way to see if you have a scarcity mindset is if you have ever say, I can't afford that. I really believe that is indicative of a scarcity mindset. Someone who is focusing on, I can't afford that, I'll never have that. That's what they're focusing on, and that is what they will always have. Or you could say, I would like to do that. I have the resources to make that happen. I have the smarts. We have available everything we ever need to learn. If I want that, and this is important to me, I have the talents and abilities and resources to make that happen. That is an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset. So one simple test is if you catch yourself saying, I can't afford that. Can you? Can you? Do you have the talents and ability and resources to have anything you've ever wanted in your life if you're intentional and you're consistent? Which also deals with getting to the root of your beliefs. Are you intentional and consistent with retraining your brain? Bye guys, so proud of you. Put in the comments anything that's been helpful for you, and I will go and write those 20 like lies about money or ways that you may be thinking about money. I had so many people that after this call said, I didn't think I had a scarcity mindset at all, but oh my word, almost every single one of those phrases I resonated with. Starts with self-awareness. You guys are doing the hard work. Proud of you.